This episode on the Mesh.tv is sponsored by The Sock Factory, making quality socks in North Carolina since 1975. Producers of Crazy Compression, William Tucker, and Fit Sock, The Sock Factory has something for everyone. Find out more at thesockfactory.com.
What you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Street Circle Drive here on The Mesh. Thanks for tuning back in. Hopefully you found us either through social media or iTunes. If you're outside the area, we are happy to have you. We are the show located in Hickory, North Carolina, and it's a show for locals and people that want to be locals. So thanks for tuning in today. If you have a second, go check out the rest of our shows on the Mesh Network. We've got everything from film review shows to educational, informational shows regarding entrepreneurship, business, customer service. We have a girly show. Girly, not like that girly show, but like a girl interest show. We have a sports fantasy show. It's a little bit of something for everybody, so please go check that out. Again, themesh.tv is where you can find us, and we're all over the internet on social media, Instagram, Facebook, everything else as well. But we're going to get started today because we got a lot to talk about, and we have a lot to drink.
Yes, we do.
We have some special guests on the show today, and I'm going to turn it over to Moose to kick us off on who is spotlighting in Hickory this week.
Awesome. Thanks, Mary Margaret. Hello, listeners, and out there in internet land. Today we have special guests from Old Hickory Brewery. Today we have Jonathan and Angelina joining us. Welcome, guys. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for being here. Thank you.
For sure.
Cheers.
Thank you for bringing beer to our podcast. That's always special. Like Mary Margaret said, we use this podcast as a catalyst to promote Hickory stuff, and we thought, no, what better way to promote our great city than to bring our own Old Hickory Brewery in to have a little chat and to talk about what you guys have got going on. So let's talk. What do you guys have going on these days?
Everything.
A little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. You know, we are the hometown brewery here. Right now we're getting started up for Oktoberfest, so of course we have our Oktoberfest on. We just released our Daniel Boone, which is an Imperial Brown that has been aged in bourbon barrel for 7 months.
Yum.
So you get the best of both worlds. It tastes like beer. It tastes like bourbon. As Daniel Boone is bourbon.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, and it also has somebody local on the label. Every time we do it, there's a different person on the label.
Oh, let's see here. Who do we have this week? Let's see, first class. I don't know who that is. Who is that?
That is Bobby Bush, owner of Hops and Grapes.
Hey,
there you go.
Bobby
Shout
Bush.
out.
Nice.
Check that out.
Also, this man has...
so mad he wants to be on that.
I know, right?
He's trying real hard.
He's been on it. Jonathan's been on it.
I was the first one.
He was the first one ever on it.
Look at your claim to fame there, buddy. Thank you. That's awesome. We're excited to try some of this stuff out, and like I said, really want to know what you guys have going on.
So all the beers you guys do, what's your favorite? Which one is it?
Ooh, that's hard.
It's like asking somebody to pick.
Well, I'm going to tell you what mine
pick your
is.
favorite child.
I'm going to
I
just tell you.
think, do I know what yours is?
Maybe. Go ahead.
Is it Table Rock?
Yeah, well, that is my standard.
That's the go-to.
That's the go-to
right?
staple.
But I had the Ned Flanders. The
Flanders
Oh,
Red.
the Flanders Red.
The Flanders Red,
Ned
like the sour that y'all are making. That's great.
Yeah, that was in a bourbon barrel for I think 30 months. We put that in.
Man, oh man, it's great.
So let me actually ask, just for some people, as we say, this show is a lot of times for locals and then people that want to be locals, because we do have a lot of people that come and check out the place, coming here, moving here for business, schools, whatever it may be. Tell us a little bit of the background of Old Hickory Brewery. You said you are the hometown brewery, and this day and age, we're seeing a lot more and more activity in the beer and wine world around here. So tell us just a little bit about you guys, where you hail, what you're all about.
I mean, Stephen Lyerly, our head brewer, started brewing back in 1994, where is now the Amos Howard's facility off of Highway 70.
Yes.
And it was all on converted dairy equipment. He moved into the facility down downtown Hickory, 2001, I believe?
2001, I believe, yeah.
So we've got an actual production brewery now, a 20-barrel brew house. And,
this is right there beside the railroad tracks off of First
Across from
Avenue.
the post office.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Great. And so you've got, roughly how many beers coming out all the time? Like, what are you keeping on cycle?
On cycle, it's 7 year-round offerings.
Right. We have our core lines. We have our core line, which is, and I love our core line because it goes all the way from a Pilsner, even a light American ale that we sell just at our restaurants, which is called
Brown Mountain Light.
Brown Mountain Light.
Yes.
I haven't been
I do
there.
enjoy Brown Mountain.
I'm sorry. And then we also have, I told you guys I haven't had enough alcohol yet. Just go ahead and open another bottle
Yes.
and I'll get it together.
It'll help you out.
And then we go from there, and so for somebody who is a commercial beer drinker and they want to get started in craft, I believe Old Hickory is a great place for that because we have beers that are very comparable. We go from that to a Hefeweizen, which is a German-style unfiltered wheat. We have, and this is in our core line, Table Rock, which is our pale ale. We have a Death by Hops, which is for our hop heads.
Yes. Yes, it is.
We have a black IPA. Like, there's so much in that core line, and then we actually expand outside of that. And Stephen Lively, who is a mastermind with barrel aging.
He is the barrel whisperer.
He is the barrel
nice.
whisperer. It's so great to watch those wheels turn when you see him, and he's just like thinking, and it's just like, and then he puts out something just absolutely amazing. And even if you're not a person who drinks that type of beer, you will drink his because it's just so perfect. And I just
Wow.
it's just amazing.
Like the quad, what was the
Careless Magnus.
aged in Armagnac barrels?
Yeah.
Okay, can you explain what that is? Because I'm not even going to pretend I know what that is.
I had to look up
I don't
what
know what that
Armagnac
is.
was. It's it's a grape wine. It's
I think one of my favorite beers we ever made was the Careless Magnus, and I see bottles going for over $100
Oh, man.
of that out there because it was like something we made, and you can't find it because it was how many years now? 3?
2 or 3.
2 or 3 years ago,
Oh, wow.
and it's a cellarable beer, so it's something that can even get better with time.
Yeah.
So in opening those bottles now, you're like, wow, like this is amazing.
I gotta pause you right there because what are we drinking right now? This is the Daniel Beer.
Right there.
Dude,
Right there.
This is some good stuff. Whatever it is we're drinking.
Usually
pouring it
I'm
now.
one who's skeptical about some of the beer aged in bourbon. And I love bourbon.
Yeah.
And I love beer. I'm one of those. I'm a stage
don't really know
eater,
if you
so I'm a
want it
stage
to
drinker too, I guess. But this is very smooth and does not have that kick or bite of bourbon when you're sitting there drinking this.
That is some good
excellent
stuff.
job.
I
by the
just-
Wiley.
It tastes like Woodford and maple syrup.
I just about cursed on there because that was really.
Yeah, it tastes like it definitely tastes like like some sort of like maple honey taste in there too, or something like that. Am I way off on that?
Flavor wise, I'm picking that up as well. But
Yeah.
this is hops, malt, water, and yeast,
Yeah,
It's crazy.
Your base
and a bourbon barrel.
and
Right.
the bourbon.
yeah. That bourbon barrel brings out all kinds of stuff.
That's really cool. Really cool.
I get like some vanilla in there,
Some caramel.
some caramel, a little bit of oak. This is probably one of my favorite beers right now that we've.
Yes.
Right. I mentioned the Flanders, the sour beer that you guys came out with. Can you guys kind of go into the reasoning that you guys have to like split or can't brew sours on site or something like that? Somebody was trying to explain that to me, and I'd like to get kind of a refresher course on that and kind of elucidate that to our listeners as well.
Well, a good way of thinking about this is clean beer, which is fermented with Saccharomyces brewer's yeast, and wild yeasts, which typically have Brettanomyces as the workhorse yeast, and then we'll also incorporate like different strains of bacteria like lactobacillus that you can typically find in yogurt. The thing is, those like your soft parts of the brewery, like your gaskets especially, it's where
It'll hide.
It can hide and it
Right.
can like embed itself, and the next thing you know, if you aren't just incredibly careful with your cleaning I mean, I'm talking incredibly careful. You run the risk of infection. You run the risk of clean beer incorporating flavors that they're not supposed to have. You know, you don't want
happy accidents.
Yeah, you don't want a pale ale that's sour.
Sure.
You want a pale ale that's, you know, has a certain flavor profile. So we switch out all soft parts, gaskets, hoses, but there's a separate sour barrel aging facility just as an insurance policy.
I understand.
Just to keep
We
things
don't
away.
bottle it on a separate line. We bottle it on our
That's only used for sours.
That's
yeah.
only used for sours. It's kept nowhere near our common bottling line, and also it's our initial or first bottling line we had, from what I understand.
Little two-head filler.
And so when we do make those, it takes forever to fill them. Like, it's a process on this little line.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, so that kind of brings us up to, you know, we know you guys, and pretty much I think all locals here know you, and hopefully more people outside the area too. But what's going on in North Carolina from your vibe? You know, we've seen a trickle down from Asheville, honestly, right? I mean, that's, it seems to me, and from what I'm hearing and reading, is that Asheville is becoming a little saturated, though, on some stuff. That's why we're seeing it come down the mountain, stopping in different places in Morganton and, you know, Lenore and down into Hickory and stuff. So what's the trend out there right now? What is happening? Why is, where do you think it's going? Are we about to hit a standstill with craft beer? Are we still growing, moving? Is it going to be nonstop from here?
Well, we're already starting to see growth slow. For years, it was double-digit growth year after year,
Yeah.
and I think year before last, we finally got back down into the single digits. You're still going to see breweries open. You're going to start seeing more breweries close, though the openings are still going to outpace the closures. Yeah. But the days of a new brewery, you know, aspiring to become a new regional brewery like Sweetwater or Highland, I think those days are over. Your new breweries are going to have to be content with being smaller. And I know in Charlotte, you know, they're starting to already just become more focused on neighborhood breweries, which is, I mean, I think that's sustainable. That was the way things were, you know, 100 years ago, and that's, well, over 100 years ago.
Now,
but
yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like, I feel like breweries now, like in Charlotte, you kind of got to get a niche and just be in that area, and you'll do really well. You know, it's just always where you see them start to fail a little bit is when they start going out into the market and starting to spread and starting distribution and things like that. There's just so much competition out there right now and so much variety that it's just too much sometimes. I mean, now we'll go to the grocery store, go to a Lowe's and look at your commercials.
Yeah.
So you remember commercial used to be so big, and craft was this tiny little section, you know, of beer you
Around
never
the
heard
corner.
of. Right.
Yep.
Now your
it's
craft
flipped.
section is your biggest part of that.
Yeah.
You know, and you have, I mean, that's a lot of options. You know, a lot of people don't have like a standard. You know, they're like, I'll get so and so's this time. I love Old Hickory's Pale Ale, but so and so has a new one out. Let me try it. You know, because now you have all those options, and now the beer dens. So now you can shop and drink, which is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it way more fun to shop.
Right.
But I agree. You know, I mean, there's always, I think, with this craft movement, is the curiosity of trying new things, and the labels are appealing and the names are quirky. And so it's like wine started doing it, you know, with their labels that's how people would buy wine, you know, at least I did when I was first started drinking a lot of wine. And then it turned into the craft beer stuff. Hey, they've got a cool label and it's a cool name. And I know I like stouts, or I know I like IPAs. So I'm going to try this, which is why you can make your own six packs sometimes on things, right?
Right, and you're also seeing that the drinkers are younger. You know, before your craft drinkers, I think, were 28 and above. Now, you know, at 21, you know, you got home brewers who are literally 20 years old and home brewing. I mean, you can go to college and learn how to brew. You can get a degree in that. You know, so it's just a different world now, and beer is seen as a staple, and craft beer is seen as a staple now in your home. You always have you have more craft than anything else.
Yeah.
And I think it's hurting the commercial, beer, the big beer, when everyone, people, craft is making Pilsners and making these light beers, and they're making them really good.
Yeah.
It's kind of hurting, them also.
No, this was a hot button issue a couple months ago, and you probably know where I'm going with this. Are you tired of talking about it? That was my question. Are you guys tired of talking about Wicked Weed and the AB InBev merger?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Great.
Good.
So
I'm not.
I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about it, because I've heard some people in the beer industry are like, yeah, if you give me this much money, it's hard to turn down. But then on the other hand, it's like, well, you're also stomping little dudes too. So what is your take, being in an industry, our listeners are dying to know?
Everybody has a price.
Right.
I mean, that
going to business.
is an irrefutable fact.
I agree.
Yeah.
If
I agree.
Anheuser-Busch was to come to me and just say, hey, we want you to write about beer, but we only want you to write about our beer, and we're willing to give you this check, I'd count the zeros. And
Right.
I mean, I have a price. Everybody does.
Sure.
And, Wicked Weed is a business. They were formed to, be a successful business, to be profitable, to make money. And look, they
did.
They did.
They certainly did.
That's the American dream.
Sure.
To start something, to build it up, to sell it, to enjoy the fruits of their labors. They've earned this.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that, because there's so many people that are so sour grapes about it, and they're just, they blow up social media and they,
Sour beer about it.
And, they go into it and they're like, oh, we're not buying Wicked Weed, this kind of thing. Well, guess what? Everybody else in the country.
But I'm never going to spend another dime on Wicked Weed, though.
There it is.
I mean,
Exactly.
I don't fault them for what they did.
Sure.
But I have a choice with my dollar.
Right.
And when I see that Anheuser-Busch's business practices in other states and in North Carolina as well, not only what they do in the grocery aisle, but what they do on the legislative level, it's despicable.
Right.
And I'm not going to give any Anheuser-Busch subsidiary a nickel, a dime,
Right.
a penny,
I understand
whatever.
that.
So, good for Wicked Weed. They were successful, and I wish them all the best of luck moving forward. And their beer could be just as good now as it always has been, but I
Right.
don't know, because I won't drink it.
I hear you.
Same.
I hear you. Same.
Nice.
Yeah, it's just 100% same. I have friends who work with them, and they're still my friends. And
Yeah.
it's,
Sure.
it's not
Yeah,
about
shout out to
that.
Wyatt.
Yeah, shout out to Wyatt. That's what I was thinking about.
it's
I love me
business.
some Wyatt.
Yeah, me
but-
too, man. He's a great dude.
Yeah,
Also-
it's business, and as you said, it's everybody's got a price, but it's also maybe we don't know every conversation that went on in those sales meetings and those discussions together, and who knows what their needs were at that time. And at that time, they felt it was right to do that, and so, like you said, their choice to go right ahead, but also your choice as a consumer of what
absolutely.
you purchase.
Right.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, that's great to know, because there's so many dissenting opinions out there that having someone in the beer industry gives a little more insight about how they feel is good to know. It's really good to know.
That company was started to sell.
Sure.
It
Right.
started you knew it was probably going to happen. Maybe you didn't know who it was going to happen with, and I think that was more of the smack for me. Was who they went with. They were already so successful. They boasted, local this and local that. So it was just like, oh, come on.
Do you think they were just so strapped for cash because they...
No.
They were not.
Well,
strapped for cash.
the way I was looking at it is they expanded how many different times within 4 or 5 years.
That's because they had the money to, though.
It's because they did have the money to. Well, I was just... The way I was looking at it, I was trying to, I guess, convince myself that it was a good move, and because I just love their sour beers, I want to keep drinking them. But they opened Wicked, they opened the brewery, they opened Funkatorium, they opened another one,
Production
and production,
facility.
and what I was hoping is that they were so strapped for cash they had to go to a big guy to say, hey, help our cash flow, let this, but. By the way you're looking at me, it doesn't seem like that was the issue.
No, I don't know what the issue was. There might
Right.
have been some issues.
Right.
For me, I just saw it as we're going to make ourselves big and get on the radar. That's how I felt it. There's breweries out there who kind of want to stay under the radar a little bit, of big beer.
That's the cool factor of it.
Right.
almost,
You
right?
want to kind of stay under that radar. And I felt like, because I called it probably 3 or 4 months before that, there was just some changes that were going on. And I was like, they're about to sell, kind of
Right,
thing.
sure.
And it was like, no way, they would never. And it was like, they're gonna sell.
Kind of switching gears a little bit. We've talked about the small guys and the super big boys. You guys kind of fit like right in the middle of that. And how does distribution? How far are you guys distributing your beer right now?
Okay, so we're all in the state of North Carolina right now.
Powerful, North Carolina.
And we are starting into South Carolina, like Columbia area. We'll be going into Greenville soon. We also, if you look on our Facebook, we are in Amsterdam.
Hey.
Oh, hey.
Nice.
We are in Berlin.
I think we're as many countries as we are states now.
Right, yeah.
Nice. That's cool.
And dipping our toe into Knoxville, we'll probably be making a little bit more of
Knoxville.
a Tennessee push.
Okay.
So
hot area.
we've been around since '94, and I feel like we've grown slowly in a good way. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's been I'm a sales rep for them. That's what I do, and I still love that we are so supported hometown. Like, we are so supported here and so loved here still. And Hickory, that's just something about Hickory. That's one thing. They're loyal. They're just amazing people. And even when I go out and doing events, they still are just like, Angelina, the old Hickory rep.
Yes.
Even if I'm going out just to have a beer, they're still going to come to me and ask me, what's new out?
What's going on? Yeah, give us a scoop.
Give us a scoop. Like, what's your next release? When's this happening? When's this going to, and it's just crazy to see and it's all different types of people, from young to 70-some-year-old man coming up to you, and you're like, how do you know my name? And he's like, well, I saw you at this event, or, whatever. And you're just like, or I follow your Facebook, which is like, you do? He's like, yeah, I'm not actually friends with you. I just hit the follow button.
Stalking you.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and that's what it is.
He's
Like, you're
stalking.
totally stalking me, and I'm sorry for all my posts that you read. You're weird. But, and it's great. I just love that, and I love that about here, to be able to walk and to go places and if I have my hat on or whatever, people are like, hey, can I buy one of those from you? They just know who you are. And they know who Old Hickory is, and they know, they're like, I love your Ruby Lager, just little things like that.
I was about to bring up, Ruby Lager was kind of one of those breakthrough for me in college. That's what, that was kind of, I feel like it's everybody's training wheels.
Yeah, so going back to what Angelina was saying.
Yeah, so it's everybody's startup on Old Hickory at least. And then now, I can still taste Ruby Lager, if I think about it, and I know I could go drink it now anytime, just because it's absolutely, it's just an easy, good, steady beer and good stuff in case anybody's ever had it out there. So
yeah, it's just Ruby Lager is a Vienna lager. Mm-hmm. It pairs well with any food. You can drink it year round. People who are hopheads and the people who like the Pilsners, it is a beer that kind of satisfies both of that. It's not hoppy at all. It just has good flavor.
Yeah.
That, if you want a beer with dinner, and you're not wanting like a palate wrecker or something like that, you just want to drink a beer with dinner, it's a great beer for that.
Absolutely.
I always keep it in my fridge. It's a staple in my fridge.
Yeah.
But what we're drinking now is probably one of my most favorite beers,
Which is
the Imperial Stout with honey.
Oh,
with honey.
So
jump
this
the gun on that honey.
Yeah. Imperial Stout with honey. This is not barrel aged or anything like that. I think this is one of the beers that really shows Steven's talent. With this is the base for a beer we make called Lindley Park. This is the base for it, and it's 10.5%. But I feel like you can drink this year round.
I completely agree.
I'm also not afraid of stouts in the summer.
Me neither. That's a joke that we have.
Holy cow, I can't drink red wine or stouts in the summertime.
Well,
any season could be stout season.
That's true.
Yes.
So with you folks, being 94, obviously, I'm sitting here thinking about not only getting started, thinking of Steven getting started here and their investment locally with the restaurants and seeing the big surge in the craft brewery, especially over the last, let's just say now, decade, and I could be off, but how has that affected the business here locally, both in what you sell out and distribution-wise and locally? Has it been something that's helped to elevate the profile of OHB? How has all of that been, and where do you see, even specifically, OHB? You talked about growth into other states and so forth. What are your thoughts with where it's come from, and then how it's, like you said, it's been a steady growth? Where do you see it going?
Well, I see us continually growing. One thing about us is that our beer is consistent. The beer's good. We have almost a beer that for everyone.
Absolutely.
So I feel that just in that alone, we are like, when I do events or when I'm selling, it's like, oh, you guys are a staple. It's like, oh yeah, Old Hickory. It's always, like, oh, you're our go-to IPA, you're our go-to blah, blah, blah when you go into places. And I absolutely adore that, So I don't, like, as far as that concerned, we're doing well, but it is like there's so many new breweries popping up, and then there's breweries out there who are only like they're out of one area, but they're only distributing to this area as far as things like that. So then that's the up and coming thing. So everybody's putting that on. So there is competition, and there's still, but I always see like. I don't have a problem when I go in a place. It's always just like, okay, good. You guys are always going to be my staple. I always hear that, and they always say, you're always going to be my staple. We have this on right now, and I have this going on after, but we're going to go.
Well, I love hearing that too, because living here, it's almost like one of those things you just think, oh, we're in our bubble, and it's everybody, of course, here loves and goes to and visits and drinks, but seeing and hearing the growth, and then hopefully it's not being siphoned off because of everybody else. It's great to hear. Selfishly, we're here on the Hickory Podcast. It's great to hear that name being put out and about, and people loving it and coming back to it for more.
Well, it's crazy. Like when I have an event in Jamestown at a Lowe's, which is on the other side of Greensboro, I have an event on a Saturday morning, and I walk into that event at 11 o'clock in the morning at a beer den, and it's slam packed for Old Hickory. Like, we're not somebody that keep on tap all the time, but when we did have an event there, the few events we've had there, it's been just phenomenal. They're popping cask there. They're doing things that usually bottle shops, like intimate bottle shops do. And you think people going into Lowe's, you're like, oh, well, that's not a person who usually drinks.
Right.
But now it is. Like, you go there to hang out on a Saturday. People are staying for hours just to drink our beer.
They have musicians and stuff coming in there now. Isn't that crazy?
And that is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
What are you doing tonight? Going to Lowe's
to hang out.
Going to the bar? Which bar? Lowe's?
Yeah. Go pick up some snacks while you're sitting there if you want. You just check out with them, walk over to the beer den. It's totally how it works.
Yeah, and let's talk about, like, you can get mimosas on a Tuesday afternoon at Lowe's. Like, so for $3, I think. So
I'm down. Yeah. No,
like,
I love it. They've even added the cup holders to the side of your shopping cart. Mm-hmm. Brilliant.
I remember the first time I seen that, I was like, what is that for? Like, that's perfect for a beer. And then it was like, oh, they're opening.
Because it is for the beer.
That's your impulse purchase juice.
Yeah. And that's exactly what you do. Because you can drink, 3 beers there or 2 or whatever. So
go buy some stuff that you don't really.
This 5-pack of lighters for $8.
Well, I noticed that happening. Like, people get stuff, and then they, come back to the beer den. And then they're like, oh, get another beer.
Finish my groceries.
And they're like, oh, well, I'm not going to get my cold stuff till I'm done, and I'm going to get my 3 beers here, And you're like, okay.
It's great.
I love it.
Absolutely.
I love it. I love how culture's changing. I love how beer is and wine and everything is just becoming more socially acceptable. Like, we can drink in a grocery store now. That's phenomenal.
Well, I have a question for each of you. So I want you to tell me your favorite OHB beer. Okay, one favorite OHB, but then you have to tell me one non-OH beer favorite. Okay, and so just one each, one in the family and one out of the family. Go.
In the family, for me would be the Wilson Creek ESB.
Okay,
that's a good one.
That was like a seasonal that rolls out like late spring. We did a small batch of it this year.
This in the restaurants, right?
I know. I wanted a big batch.
We had so many people who were upset about that too.
Yeah, I was one of them.
I had so many
social
people.
media guy has a bone to pick about a beer that you aren't doing.
We noticed all these angry tweets coming around about Wilson's Creek. What?
I noticed in your description on the website it says lending a nice biscuity body. I can relate to that.
Little doughy.
It is.
That's what it says. It says lending a nice biscuity body.
It is definitely.
Are you saying you're biscuity, or are you yeasty? Like, you could be either one.
Both, maybe.
So that's easy.
That's your in the family.
That's my desert island beer. To be honest, that is. I could have that in the coldest of winters, the hottest of summers. If I was just to drink like one beer every day, I could do that one easy.
Nice.
And I'm a very promiscuous drinker. So
I didn't know where you were going with that.
I know.
I totally was like, what?
I was like, wait, what? Changing topic there.
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I'm glad.
We know.
I keep it rotating. Like, I don't have like a standard in my fridge at home.
Right.
But Wilson Creek, that was about as close as it came.
What's your outside the family?
I'm gonna have to think about that one.
Yeah, me too.
Angelina, what's your inside the family favorite?
My inside the family favorite has to be, I have to go with the Imperial Stout with honey. I'm sorry.
It's some good stuff. We just downed it, all of us. I think that was good stuff.
It's 10.5%. You want more?
Yeah, you know this biscuity body wants some of that.
So it's 10.5%.
Yeah.
So I haven't had this in a really long time. I've been drinking Old Hickory for years, but, I drank it a long time ago, and then, now you start getting into the other stouts and all the other beers and things like that. And I was at an event that we had at the brewery. We're doing a release, and Steven, our brewmaster owner, he was like, can I get you a beer? And I was like, just pick something. And he poured me this. And I was like, why are you pouring me this? Like, come on, of all this great stuff we have on, And I took one sip of it, and I was like, wow, I forgot. And I remember him saying to me, welcome back.
Yeah.
And that is my go-to. Like, when I get there, I'm like, all right, Imperial Stout and honey is on. I'm probably going to have one of those tonight. It's just always my favorite.
Really
It just changed my mind about stouts in the summertime, to be honest.
Do you see how light?
Yeah, it's just super light. When you think about stouts, you think, super heavy, and it's
Sticks on
it just kind of sits like an 8 block of concrete on your stomach.
I like it.
But it's super light, and it's good. You could almost drink it poolside.
Right.
Yeah.
So Imperial Stouts are meant to be enjoyed a little bit on the warmer side.
Right.
You don't want to keep it, you don't want to serve it ice cold like the Rockies.
Right. The Blue Mountains on that one.
Exactly. If the mountains turn blue on this stout bottle, it's too cold to drink.
Too wrong. Yeah.
So you want it about 50, 55 degrees to properly enjoy it. So summertime, you take that thing out of your fridge and it comes up to temperature faster. It's a faster, come up. So I love Imperial Stouts in the summertime because I don't have to wait for them as long.
And then
Absolutely.
Another thing about Imperial Stouts that I love is as they warm, they change. And this is a sipping beer. I know I just took it straight to the dome and drank it out of the bottle, but that's the first time I've ever done this with this beer, and it's still just as good.
Oh, really?
It's a horrible thing to do that, but I just felt it was fun because it's not on camera.
It was fabulous.
So, I really love that, especially in the bourbon barrel beers. As you drink them, it's an experience. You're sitting down either, I'm going camping this weekend or going to the mountains this weekend, and I know I'm going to take a bottle just to sit outside by the fire and enjoy and just sit there as it warms and talk, and it's just an experience that can be shared, and I just love that, like you
Can
sit with people.
Absolutely picture that and taste it. I can almost feel
Can
myself
you imagine
right there.
that?
Yeah.
Or even just sitting in the summertime, sitting outside around the pool and, passing around a bottle of Imperial Stout.
Yeah.
It's just great.
So I hear some, I have a brother that lives right outside of Portland. And so I get North Carolina's doing pretty good for their beer. And it's a very, that's just what they do. I mean, they're constantly going to a new place to drink beer out there. So what's our future look like in the overall realm of things? I mean, are we kind of the East Coast Portland at this point? Not we as in Hickory, but North Carolina? Or is it, are we hard to catch, or is it too hard to catch up?
Portland a couple of years ago did something that, it was only a matter of time. They became the first city in the United States that more craft is consumed there than domestic beer. So that was impressive.
Yeah.
So good for Portland. North Carolina, we're still a ways off.
Yeah.
I think.
Powerful Bud Light.
Yes.
Natty Light out there.
Yes.
We're single digit percentage
Yeah.
is the craft share. So, are we Portland Light, no, not
Yeah.
until we have 40% or until we grow that market 40%.
That's
Right.
just. I think that's education and that's just education. And sorry, I had to get up to the microphone again. I just got beat on by Mary Margaret.
Laying back after having a few beers,
laying
right?
back. That's and that comes with education. That comes with changing people's palates by starting them with a Piedmont Pilsner. Oh, you like Bud Light? Yeah, we don't have Bud Light. Try this Piedmont Pilsner because it's better. Et cetera, et cetera. Easing people in. It's a lot of it, and we appreciate what you guys do in Hickory, and there's nothing better than having a hometown brewery and something you can be proud of, and something that's you see exponential growth. I've lived in Hickory since 1998, and with minus 3 or 4 years, but
The dark ages, as we like to call them,
ages,
where you went away
right.
for a while.
When I had to go find
Much
myself.
Imperial Stout, you just don't remember them.
That's right. But yeah, we appreciate you guys coming and giving us your insight and all that good stuff. And Mary Margaret's going to talk a little bit about what else have we got going on here.
Yeah, well, we figured we would stick to the same topic because when you're drinking beer, you got to keep talking about beer, and that's how it works. So there is an event coming up that is near and dear to all of our hearts, I believe.
Chicken on a Stick Fest.
Yes, turkey leg out of a bucket. Here we come. It's Oktoberfest coming to Hickory. I believe this is their 30th, 31st, somewhere around their year that's been going on. Big deal. Brings a lot of traffic to the area. Let's see, it started in 1985, so somebody do college math on that for me.
I can't math.
32 years.
32 years. Okay, cool. So it will be coming to downtown Hickory. This year is actually a weekend later than normal. It's Friday, October 13th. Friday the 13th starts up the beer festival. But obviously, it's not just beer. This is a celebration of our heritage here. And they've got a great website, hickoryoktoberfest.com. Of course, October spelled with a K. And entertainment coming Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. They have a couple stages out there that people perform. They have lots of kid activities. So they do have a... those really bad rides. Danger rides. But
not that there's been any reported incidents that I'm aware of. Just not to scare anybody off.
We're just showing our age right now. That's what it is.
Exactly.
We're like, I'm not riding that thing.
They used to look really cool.
Yeah,
and now I'm like, nope, not get on that. But
I had too much beer.
My kids do enjoy it. Yeah. So, and then as Moose fondly said, we have some chicken on a stick out there. Lots of food truck vendors. Yeah. To come, and you can get in the beer garden, and there's no pets, no kids in the beer garden, all 21 and up, but lots of good stuff, lots of stuff to drink. You guys going to be out there?
We don't do it as far as Old Hickory.
But are you as a Hickory native?
Oh, as a Hickory native? Yeah. Of course. Yeah. I always go, it's fun. I usually go Saturday. Yeah. They have actually a really great singer-songwriter area on the square. So
absolutely,
they'll have bands, and there's 2 beer gardens. There's one, the big one that's down the steps, and there's like the huge one where you got to show ID and and get bracelets,
get your bands.
And it's a big ordeal, and it's awesome. And sometimes there's some bigger acts that come down there.
Yes.
Then there's one that is up on the actual square, and that's another one. They'll serve Old Hickory beers, and they also will serve some German beers.
This is where the polka band will play,
yes,
right?
It is so great. Yeah. Yes. And so I hang out there mostly because this is so great.
I enjoy that area. That's really fun. I mean, late night is where everybody goes down to the big stage in the parking lot. The City Hall parking lot is essentially what it is. But that polka stage is always super fun, and
it lasts all day. At night, they'll bring in usually more of a pop band or whatever that evening, but it's still like family friendly. And then if you keep walking straight, like you're going towards the big gun thing, I don't know weapons.
That's the big cannon.
The big cannon, yes. You go down to the big cannon. There's a singer-songwriter stage over there. That's really awesome. And you'll have some people coming down from Asheville and Boone and things like that, and also some local people who play there.
Absolutely. So lots of local representation, and including in the arts and crafts area, too.
Right.
A fun little vendor set up where you could walk around. So it is a very family-friendly event.
It is.
And then there's certain areas that if you'd like to come back later on at night, or if you are kid-free for the day or something, it's definitely capable of doing. But it's a very important event to Hickory. I think like I said, it does kind of show our roots and tribute that. But it's a very large festival. I mean, it brings in tens of thousands of people, and it used to be that it was on the same weekend as Lenore Ryan Homecoming.
Right.
And that just, that kind of blows your mind every once in a while if you're an LR alum, because how do you choose?
There's a lot going on, and you end up downtown anyway.
Yes.
So,
But this year it's actually not.
Right.
So they're not on the same weekend, which is totally fine. Then spread the love around. That's good. Moose was just checking out the entertainment. You see anything interesting?
I'm on the Friday night entertainment page right now. Hickory favorites, King Biscuit Trio will
Back
be
to
on
Biscuits.
Back to Biscuits. King Biscuit
Back to
Trio,
Biscuits.
Eric Biter's band, King Biscuit Trio. They're
I
going to
love
be
Eric Biter, by the way. He's one
going
friend
to
of
be
mine.
there at 7 at the main stage. Red Dirt Revelators. They're
They
also
are
local.
amazing.
Our regional area band is playing on the main stage on Saturday night. So you get to. And the Pavilion stage on Saturday night, my buddies The Message is also playing, so you go check those out.
That's a
and
great
if you
lineup.
get a wild hair, Moose and Friends playing both nights at the Old Hickory Tap Room. So that'll be
Hey,
fun.
hell.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
Yes.
And can I plug that also? That's
Sure,
also one of
absolutely.
Old Hickory's restaurants. So, let me talk a little about that restaurant. If you have not come to Hickory, and if you come to Hickory, or if you live in Hickory, that's a restaurant you need to go to. Number one, it
Absolutely.
has arguably like the most alcohol on the East Coast. We have your Pappy Van Winkles. We have all that.
Louise.
We have the King Louis. We have
Yes.
it all. It's a fun, very high energy place. During Oktoberfest, we will be running specials that night as far as food and drinks, of course. Our Oktoberfest beer will be on, so if you come out. The girls that work there and some of the guys dress up.
Yes.
Lederhosen.
Lederhosen, yeah. It's fun. Like when I started here, I started with the brewery. With the restaurant itself, and I worked Oktoberfest, and it's a long, great, fun day.
Yeah.
And you get to meet people from all over. And that's a bar that you can sit at and meet people. And that's one thing I love about Hickory is you can go to the bar by yourself. You can just be like, hey, I'm in town or I'm new to town. Go to a bar downtown. Go to Old Hickory Old Hickory Tap Room, or go to Old Hickory Station. Just sit down.
Absolutely.
Somebody is going to talk to you.
It does not have to be Oktoberfest
No.
to enjoy a good conversation and a good meal down and a good time. There's
Right.
always music playing. There's games on the TV. There's whoever has to put the little bows on all the taps at Christmas. Props to them, but
that is a big ordeal. You
I
come in
bet.
early, it takes like a couple days. Same thing with Halloween. We do a big Halloween thing, and we come put bows and everything and hang lights. And
every time that we go there around Christmas, because you got to get a beer with a peppermint
get our
stick
Christmas
in it,
ale.
right?
Gotta get the
Right.
Christmas sale.
It's like whenever we're sitting there, it never fails. Somebody at the table says, "Who do you think had that crap job of putting all their bows up?" And we ask it every year.
I was
but-
always thinking it was whoever drew the shorter straw.
No,
Yes.
so, and for people who don't know, if you go into Old Hickory around Christmas time, we have tap handle, or any time, but there's tap handles all over the place in there.
like walls full.
Walls full of tap handles. And what we do is we put a bow on every single one.
It's a nice touch. It's a nice
It's
touch.
a nice touch. But when you're thinking about it, you're sitting here going, okay. But when you see it and see how many tap handles there's actually in there, a lot of old tap handles, a lot of antiqued, and,
Yes.
it's the way they get cleaned.
It's not.
Dusting every
a little dusting
It's
every
not
year.
unlike taking down your Christmas tree or your decorations at
No.
home, where I can imagine taking them down is probably even worse because you're kind of at the end of the season and it's like, man,
You're tired.
Yeah.
Like you just worked a Christmas season because
Holidays
everybody comes
over
in
now,
town.
so-
All the people are in from college. The kids are in
Yes.
from college, and they all go to the tap room. So it's a crazy, great, wonderful season. You run into friends.
yeah, it's always
Moose
a
and
good time.
Friends plays.
Moose and friends are there. Yes.
Thanksgiving night, it's always a great time there too.
Yeah, Thanksgiving and Christmas night. It's
Absolutely.
always a big deal, and they never close, no matter how much snow's on the ground. Tap room's open.
Yes,
So just so you know, so you can come get your bourbon drink.
it is a good time up there and good food. Real good
Yes.
food too. So really
Affordable.
enjoy our meals up there. My kids even love it. You know, I mean, it's definitely family friendly too. So really looking forward to that. So check out Oktoberfest if you guys get a chance. Again, it is coming to downtown on Friday, October 13th, and goes Saturday and Sunday through the 15th. Lots of fun stuff and a great experience in true Hickory fashion. So speaking of true Hickory fashion, it's time.
It's time.
It's time.
For
The food
what
review.
everybody's always looking forward to.
Yeah.
Well, and we're keeping with the theme. We have the friends from OHB come and talk about delicious brews, talk about the delicious offerings, including Moose's favorite chicken on a stick, turkey in a bucket, whatever. I don't think
Chicken
he
on a stick,
discriminates.
man. That's
Yeah.
where it's at.
So now we're going to go to delicious food at La Tienda Mexicana Las Isabelas. Or as I was very much schooled, we just call it Isabelas.
We just call it Isabelas.
Just call it
Isabelas.
Isabelas. The Tiendas. So for those that don't know where we're talking about, is right across from the police station and the bus stop in downtown Hickory.
And the brewery's right across the street.
And across the
brewery.
street from the brewery. We're keeping it very, very local
Very
today.
local.
Well, very-
This is right down
like,
the street
We're like
from
in a
us.
block right now.
Blocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that's good or bad. There's a reason we're having us all at the same time. We didn't have to walk far. We didn't have to,
know.
just make it easy for all of us. But
So excited
I have
that I
to
know about
say,
this place now.
I'm a little ashamed that it took me this long to come and eat at Isabella's
Same.
because I love some Mexican food. And this was fabulous. And if you love Mexican food, I recommend to anybody. And I mean, when I say Mexican food, real authentic. Mexican food.
I'm still sweating.
Yeah,
Did you eat the pepper?
No, he didn't eat the pepper, but
No, I had
he
that
got
red-
a little.
I had that red sauce.
He got a
Oh,
little
you had the red
brave with
sauce?
the red sauce.
Lit me up, sir.
So,
Paying for that later.
so we went there for lunch today, and true to form, I kept up with. We now have a leader in the clubhouse with the place where I've spent the most most money for one of our review lunches.
And
you have to work to spend a lot of
and a
money
side
here.
note,
Yeah.
it's very affordable.
The tacos are
It is.
$2.
They're $2.
How much was your tab?
Before the tip?
Yeah.
1926.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
the missus will
okay.
see that and say, "Oh, it must have been a podcast day."
Yes.
So, but I'm here for the people.
Absolutely. You gotta
take one for the team.
you gotta really investigate.
What am I going to talk about? Yeah, it's a good chicken taco. Go get it. No, man, I got to say all of the wonderful deliciousness.
What all did you have, McNally?
So I had chicken taco or pollo taco. I had the
got a lesson
chorizo
out of it.
taco.
Yes.
The steak taco, and it was delicious. And then just to
I
top
was
it
about to
off,
say that's not all you had.
yes, to top it off, I had the enchiladas and green sauce, which was a full plate. And I have an eating problem when it comes out, and I sit there and say, "Look at the beans. It's not just a slab of refried beans sitting at the end of the plate.
These are beans that were cooked on a stove.
freshly cooked. It was delicious. Usually the afterthought on most plates when you go to a Mexican restaurant, and it was awesome. But I highly recommend it. Be careful with the red sauce that they bring out, right, Moose?
He's
still sweating.
I'm feeling so bad, y'all. It just
He's crying right now.
no, it was. I'm just thinking about it.
Memories.
Like the outside of my tongue is still lit up.
Yes.
And-
We'll take your review on the fish tacos, but not so much the shrimp tacos because there's no
was there
way you tasted
anything
them.
else but that on the shrimp?
You can take mine.
Yeah,
I
what did
love
you
the
have,
shrimp
Moose?
tacos.
I had the fish taco with the green verde sauce that they bring. It was fantastic. The fish was blackened on corn tortilla with pico de gallo. Super simple. Served with a side
And
of
the tortillas are
lime.
great.
Tortillas fantastic. Also ordered a shrimp taco, which was same thing, shrimp pico de gallo on a corn tortilla. I had that with that hell sauce, and it was holy mackerel. I'm telling you.
But we even said
it was
that-
good though. It was
it
good.
was.
It wasn't like the Carolina Reaper or something crazy like that.
Where you couldn't
just
taste.
do it to impress chicks.
It still has a good flavor.
Yeah, it's super good.
That chicks are impressing.
That's why we talked about this. Why do people eat peppers that you just can't taste anything? It's to impress chicks.
But that doesn't
It
work
is.
for me. Does it work for you? It doesn't
No,
work for
you're
me.
an idiot.
Yeah.
Sorry, but
Oh, we just removing all doubt. So I also had the chicken quesadilla.
That was 2 inches thick.
It was 2 inches thick.
Yeah.
It was the size of half the size of a hubcap. I would eat there again. 8 out of 7. 8 out of 7.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
You're sticking with that 7
You
scale.
went over the scale,
I did.
man. That's amazing.
8 out of 7.
And
Well, I had the ceviche. Went very simple, easy, but
well, you had a
little bit-
method to your madness, too. You're like, listen, if they do it right, this is going to be...
Yes, because I
Delicious.
love ceviche. I can get ceviche anywhere I go, and I love it. Now, ceviche is extremely easy to overdo, where people just make it too much. They add too much flavor to it, too much junk in there. I want my ceviche simple, clean, fresh, and tasty. And this was all of it. It got checked off everything. And then he brought out these. He saw me, as we may note, this gentleman who was wearing a little bow tie.
He was.
Great.
Our little waiter was wearing a
Great
little bow tie.
service.
It was amazing. I loved it. So he came out. He checked on us numerous times because he knew we were first timers. If it wasn't
Very
that obvious,
conversational.
yes. And but he saw me eyeballing the onions and pepper that he brought Moose alongside of his plate, and I was staring at it, and I said, "Oh, Moose, that looks so good." And about 30 seconds later, I had some beside me that he had brought out and put down in a bowl beside me, and I enjoyed both of those as well. Grilled onions, pepper in there, and it was just a little side dish of it. But the ceviche was incredible. I highly recommend it. It's a huge plate of it. Came with some fresh avocados on top, and the shrimp was cooked perfectly, and everything was great. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. It did come with these... I don't know what you call them, like a little flatbread, but it's basically a big old chip.
Yeah.
Right?
Corn. Yep.
It's like a fried tortilla almost or something, but it's crispy. It's like if you broke it up, you'd have the chips like you have at maybe the generic Mexican restaurants, chips and dip type stuff. And so that's what he brought out as a bowl of that for me to use with my ceviche, which was, again,
It's great.
pretty awesome.
It was great. And
Yeah.
the ambiance with it having the store, the convenience store, grocery store, butcher store. I mean, they've got a little bit of everything.
Like it is
Yeah.
That's where you go pay for the
inside,
food. They've got outdoor seating. We didn't take
Yes.
advantage of that today, but I am sure I will in the near future.
Yeah, the
good.
store had a little bit of everything. It was nice whenever you sat down. He said, "Oh, go get your drink out of the cooler." So you went over to where the store was and got your drink out of there. So we each picked something.
I had strawberry soda. It was great.
Yeah, me too.
Doritos.
We
Both had strawberry soda.
Yeah.
I had strawberry water, which was phenomenal. And so that was good. We took care of that. He popped the top off the drinks for you, and then you go out to the store to pay. So we walked around the store to soak it all in a little bit. Of course, the menu's super authentic back there in the butcher shop.
Yep.
And then they had a little bit of everything. Candy,
Yeah.
medicine, Moose found.
That shark cartilage, if anybody needs that. Good
Yes.
for osteoarthritis.
They had some, of course, the peppers, dried peppers, and tomatillas, a little cooler for cool refrigerant stuff. So it was really just a very cool overall experience. Cannot wait to go
It
back.
was fabulous. And I've always driven by it thinking it was just the
Store.
the tienda. But when
And
I was
I'll
told maybe a
admit-
couple of weeks ago it was a restaurant, I was shocked.
I'll admit, I knew it was a little I knew it was the grocery store. Little intimidated to go in there,
Oh, yeah.
right? So I didn't know if I would be looked at silly or feel weird going in there. However, super nice customer service in there.
Coming
People
out to
asking
us,
if you need
yeah.
anything. People saying, "How was your meal? How was the service? How did you feel about it? Please come back." I can always appreciate that.
Absolutely. So it was a wonderful experience. I would give it, with ambiance and visual, I'm going with a normal person 10-point scale here. I'm going to give it a 9.3.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah,
people
I was
go there,
gonna-
that translates
And I
to a
love
6.7 out of 7.
I definitely am taking the missus back there. It was
Absolutely.
awesome.
I was
eat there
definitely going
once
to
a
go.
week.
Do you really?
I eat there once
Well,
a
you're
week.
right there, so that helps. It's walking
Perfect.
distance for you. What's your go-to?
I get the shrimp tacos, and then I get a side of rice, and then he brings me the peppers and the onions.
Yes.
And then I put that red sauce, which if you get the red sauce,
the red sauce on your onion.
I did the
Yeah.
red sauce on the onion. That was
you look
it
at that
was
red
good.
sauce. That red sauce looks like hellfire.
It is.
Just
Yeah.
when you look at
Stir
it.
up the bottom
Yeah,
of it.
the
Yeah.
bottom of it's where the truth is.
Yeah, and you're just like, why would I want to do this? But I'm going to do. Well, you know
Because
what?
it's
I can't.
delicious?
Right. And so now I can't. Because, I was like, why do guys eat those peppers?
Yeah.
I do that. I know
Yeah.
I'm punishing myself, but
Yeah.
it's amazing and it tastes good.
Yeah. They do a
So-
great job over there. And like I said, it was clean. It was friendly. That's the first part of that right there. It had a big old skull of an animal on the wall. So
Yes.
bonus
It was
points there.
so good.
And they put out a
Highly
cooler. I don't know
recommended.
if they put it out for lunch because I always go for dinner. But they have this cooler that they put out without a lid on it, full of beer.
Ice cold beer and water.
Yeah, and
Nice.
you just literally just go in there and grab
Are
your
you sure they don't do
Modelo's.
that just when they see you come in the door?
They might, because
Okay.
I will drink like 3 22-ounce Modelo Specials. So
Yes, it was.
will,
It
and-
was great.
I'm sorry.
And again, we always kind of go
Don't
back to if
apologize
it's
for
kid friendly or
being
not.
delicious. You know?
Yeah, we always go back to try to let people know if it's kid friendly or not. And it had it's definitely kid friendly. You could sit outside, you could sit inside with them. It's like I said, it's a grocery store, but there is definitely just plain old tacos. Plain, they could get a good old taco,
done well.
rice,
Yeah.
as you were saying,
Fresh.
and they also had
$2 too.
They also
Yeah.
had chicken tenders and French
that's what I was
fries
gonna say.
on the menu. And I mean, honestly, if your kid doesn't want a taco at that time, chicken tenders and fries are always going to work, and mommy and daddy can enjoy the deliciousness that is over
man.
there. So I'm sold. Happy to take my family there as well.
Absolutely.
Great. Hey, that was some stuff. Moose's mouth's on fire, not just from the talking, but the red sauce, and hopefully cooled down a little bit from the beer.
He's biscuity.
That's right. Yeah. Well, thanks OHB guys for coming back again.
Yes.
Thank
Thank you. I had a great time.
For
This
sure.
is we do love our hometown favorite. You know, we all have, I think, our favorite OHB beers, and now maybe a
I
new
always
one
take it to friends
because
from outside of town just to take a little bit of Hickory there. I
as
love
do
doing
we.
that
And
stuff.
I'll admit though, even my brother who comes in from Portland, you know, who rarely gets back home, but they usually are back around Christmas or so. We always hit up some of the coolers, and we've got to check out the new OHB stuff. So he's a fan as well, coming from the West Coast. So
And there's always something new as well. Like there,
Yes.
Right.
we have
You always have to check.
another imperial stout brewed with maple syrup, aged in bourbon barrels, coming out at
Few
some
weeks.
point.
soon.
Yeah, we'll announce that one probably day before it
Great.
goes on sale.
Where's the best place for people to find out when things are released and what's happening and get the best information from you guys?
I
Hey.
know. Facebook, Instagram,
Okay.
Twitter.
So all
all
social
over
media, you'll be releasing information about that. So everybody go check out, follow, like, friend, everything for OHB.
Visit,
and
drink
definitely.
responsibly.
We have a collaboration coming out.
Oh, and then
Yeah.
then there's the collaborative Old Rabbit's Foot. This
Do tell.
is we are super excited about this. It is a collaboration, North Carolina collaboration. It is Duck Rabbit out in Farmville,
Love it.
Foothills in Winston-Salem, and us. So that's where you get the Old Rabbit's Foot. It's a portion. of everybody's
Nice.
It back in the day was originally a blend of our imperial stouts aged in Pappy Van Winkle barrels. Now it's Woodford Reserve, I
Woodford
believe.
Reserve.
But
love Woodford.
still, that is it's a blend of 3 of the OG imperial stouts aged in bourbon barrels. I mean, it was the first collaboration brew, I believe, in North Carolina.
Wow.
And it's coming back after 5-year
5
hiatus.
years.
Nice.
That release will be November 11th.
November the 11th.
Nice.
And we're
That
still figuring out everything else, but we know the date.
We have the date also, just for people in Hickory or people coming to Hickory. That is the same date as the Shuck and Peel also, which is a big event in downtown Hickory.
Absolutely.
So you can come get some oysters. It starts about 2, I think, or 1.
That's a good afternoon. That's a full afternoon. I think they're starting about 1 o'clock. They usually go to 6
It's
o'clock
to
or something
6.
like that. It's
We'll
a great
start
time.
about 8. So you can. And
We're still figuring that out.
Yeah, we're still. Yeah,
There's
we'll
lots
start.
of time between that, and I'm sure we'll be talking about that
And
one.
there's
But that's
things
a good
to do.
event. Yes.
Yeah, we come hang out, meet some people. We have people come from all over for our events. So
Yes.
if you're a really big craft fan, or even if you want to just learn about craft, I think that's a good event. And our brewery is not really open to the public very much.
Right.
That is coming to events like that is a way to come and see our brewery, because our brewery is still very active and moving. And so to come through, you're going to have to dodge forklifts and step over hoses and
Especially today. I mean,
Especially-
like
yeah.
any
I tripped twice
any
today.
weekday. It's
yeah. I think I tripped twice today over.
Well,
hose.
that's it's very cool space to drive by. Beautiful old building right there off the side of the train tracks and right downtown. So obviously people can at least see it, know where it is.
Yeah, we're right beside the ABC store.
Talk about being local. Doesn't get much more local than that. So thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. And thanks for the beer.
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Day drinking at its
It's
finest.
going to make my afternoon smooth. So
I know, right?
too.
You gave me a reason to day drink.
So excited.
Speaking of local, we also like to thank our sponsor, the Sock Factory. They've made socks here in Hickory locally since 1975. Go check out their lines of socks: Fit Sock, Crazy Compression, and William Tucker. They can all be found on thesockfactory.com, or you can ride out to Longview and go buy socks from them. Just give Nate or Michael a call, and they'll be happy to help you out. Again, Circle Street Drive is sponsored by the Sock Factory and thesockfactory.com. So thanks again, OHP guys. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here. And thanks to our host, themesh.tv. You can find out more online at the website or on our social media channels. We have a new Instagram that you can check out. It's themesh.tv. We've already shared our overindulgence picture for the week of the amount of food that we ordered at the say the name again.
La Tienda Mexicana Las Isabelas.
Correct. Okay, so we are happy to have you guys join us. Hopefully you'll check out anything we have coming in the future. And you know what? If you have a place that you would like us to try out and give our personal opinion on, you know, I mean, let's be honest. Michael just spent $19 at the Mexican restaurant, and there's really,
incentivizing.
You're gonna get some profit there, and there's really not much he doesn't like. So, let us know if you have any place that you'd like us to come check out, your place of business or an organization that you'd like us to help promote. Give us a call. We'll take your call anytime. We do have a voicemail line at 828-619-0048, or you can email us at info@themesh.tv. Thanks again for listening to Street Circle Drive. We will catch you next time here in Hickory.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.